Hello, you guys. It's Karen from Be Creative. We are live, but we're not. So, I had so much problem going live last time. I decided to pre-tape, but I'm doing it in one take. So it's kind of like it's live. I'm kind of like doing it live with you, and I'll be live on the comments throughout as well. So I want to get into this project. First of all, here is our show special. We never do this. We're going to do 20% off our entire website at shopbecreative.com. That's SHOPBEE creative.com. There it is. And that is going to be both the regular priced items and anything that's already on sale. You're going to double dip and you're going to take 20% off of that as well. So if something is, say, $5 and it's on sale for $3, you're going to take another 20% off of that. So what would that be? Another 60 cents off. That's some fast math for you. So you're double dipping. We always have free shipping above $59, and anything below or under $59 is a flat rate $7.99 shipping. Makes it super easy. This is going to be valid for you through Tuesday the 20th. So you have a few days. If you're watching this not live and a day later or something, you've got a few days to get that going. But the coupon code you're going to use is BBucks. So when you check out, there will be like a coupon box like on the checkout screen, and you can use, debit, credit, or PayPal to check out. Anything that's easy for you. And if you ever have an issue, just, email me directly and I can make it easy for you. I could even do it, do it on the phone. Why not? My email address is Karen@shopbecreative.com. That's Karen. So this is what we're doing today. I know many of you got the cute, adorable kit. If you didn't, you can still get it. In the kit, I gave you all kinds here. I'm going to move this out of the way. This is what we're making, but I gave you goodies hold on, I've lost my mind. Here we go. I gave you goodies like if we're going to color. So I gave you a blank one, but if you're not a colorist, I gave you a filled in one if you just want to embellish. Because I know some of us are not necessarily into coloring, and I wanted to be all things to all people. So this is what you got in your kit. I'm missing one thing though. Where are the stickles? I had some stickles here. Here it is. That's also in your kit. So we've got stickles. We've got the white Uniball. We've got all kinds of good stuff. So let's get into it. I'm going to make the base of the card to start. Let's start there. So I'm going to move this aside. I want to see what you see. Here we go. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take, I will say, I think mine is too big. I need to trim it down. So I gave you a card. You're going to fold that. It should be pre-scored. And you're going to do that in landscape like that. What else have we got going? We've got this guy. Mine is too big. I know yours is cut to size. So let me cut mine down. When I go to cut stuff down, I'm really bad. I'm not a good measurer. Like, I could measure. I just don't like to. I'm one of those types of people. So let me do this. I'm going to do the eyeball method. We're going to go do, do, do. And so then I'm going to go do, do, do. That's where I'm going to cut. Does anybody else do it that way? That's kind of how I do it. So I'm just one of those... I don't really like to measure it. Then the trick is, can I see where I marked it? That's always the trick. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use my lovely white pen that came in my kit, because that makes a whole lot of sense. There's where I marked it right there. So I'm going to do that. This white pen's amazing just because you can write on absolutely any surface or any color. So we've got that going on. Okay, there we go. That's so much better. That's so much better. Okay, so we've got this going. We've got this going. You know what I don't have is I don't have a tape runner. I gotta find it. I'm a bit of a mess today, a hot mess, if you will. What have I got? I've got some foam tape in here. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know. So I'm gonna cut off some foam tape. We're gonna just do this just so I can get it down. So, yeah, use your adhesive runner, if you will. And we're going to get this. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, here we go. So I'm going to pop that right like that. That works for me. We're going to set this aside. If you are going to not color this, you would take this image and we're going to crop it a lot closer. So I'm going to crop it right here. I'm going to crop it right here, right up to the trunk, just so it can nestle really nicely on the side of the card like this. My sentiment, I also cropped it a little closer if you wish. I always give you a little bit more just so you can then, kind of play with it and make sure you have enough space. I did ink the edges, you'll see, with black ink. I'm one of those, when I ink the edges, I'm a dragger. I'm a dragger, meaning I drag when I ink. I don't know, some people do it different ways, but that's just how I like to ink when I do my edges. So we're gonna crop that closer as well. Here, I will do that too with you, because that will be something that both cards, whether you're coloring it or not, is gonna have that going on. So I'm gonna do this. I kind of need a new trimmer blade. A lot of times my blade, it's like I'm distressing, I'm not actually cutting. Anybody else? Yeah, kind of an issue, but that's okay. Sometimes, you know, those little distressy, it's like kind of hairy, and it'll actually pick up the ink really nicely. So I could take my black ink here, and the little hairy edges will, like, they'll dye them and pick it up, and it'll look kind of nice. So there you go. All right, so I got that going on. I will be popping that up. I'll pop it up now just to get that out of the way, and then we won't need to do it later. I've got some more foam tape over here. I'm just gonna pop this up about like that. That'll work. Now we got to get into the whole, so if I did my tree, I would embellish that, but I want to color. I want to color with you, because you also got a lovely green marker in your kit. So as I said, we're doing the 20% off the website. So that includes all of the, here, let me get a piece of paper. When we color, we always have paper underneath us, because it needs to be able to, like, absorb down. So let's talk paper for just a moment. This is alcohol marker cardstock that I printed everything on. It is an absolute perfect surface for really anything. I emboss on it. I blend with it, like blending backgrounds. I do that. What else do I do? Well, obviously I color on it. I use it for pretty much everything except for watercolor. Just because it's really smooth. It's 100-pound weight. It's nice bright white, and it's really densely bound. So like when you're coloring with alcohol markers, what don't you want to use? You don't want to use a watercolor paper, because too fibrous and it will like shred and pill when you color. You don't want to use like a basil, something with a grain, because then the color will wick and bleed all over the place. You don't want to use what I affectionately call Walmart white. Walmart white cardstock, where it's cheap, it's smooth, it's fine. No, it's not. It's going to bleed sideways. The ink has got to go somewhere. It's either going sideways or it's going through the paper, and through the paper is a good thing. So I will show you that real quickly on the back here. I'm going to grab, I have an extra sentiment here. So, you know, if you're coloring something, I don't want it bleeding sideways. So if I did this and I wait a minute, I go back over, look what happens. It like deepens it. It will layer the color without bleeding out sideways. So what happens when I do that, it bleeds through the paper. Can you see that? It's bleeding through, which is a good thing. It's just not going sideways, which is what you absolutely don't want to do. So what am I using? I'm using, there is Spectrum Noir cardstock. We still have it in stock. The manufacturer is no longer producing it. We stocked up in a big, big way to get us at least through Christmas. We have the 20 sheet or the 50 sheet pack, I think. I got to double check that. I'm pretty sure we have for sure the 20 sheet pack. I think a few of the 50 sheet pack left. I think the issue was there was just, I don't know, they've had a lot of issues, but we stocked up. We also carry Nina as well. We have Nina in 30 sheet packs on our website too, with our own like label on it. We label it ourselves. So you can use either. I honestly think it's virtually the same cardstock, but having the alcohol marker cardstock is really key, really important. So that's something you could stock up on as well. So let's talk a little bit about the alcohol markers. So we're using a tri-blend alcohol markers. There's different brands. There's Copic, there's Spectrum Noir, there's others. As long as it's made out of alcohol, they'll all play really nicely together. You don't have to worry about that. So this particular guy that you got in your kit has 3 distinct colors in the pen. You've got a light, a mid, and a dark. You do not have to figure out what goes with what. That's what's really nice about this. You don't have to have a PhD in color theory. Because inevitably, if you pick, say, another brand where they sell single colors and it's not all hooked together like this, you're going to end up pulling a crayon box where even though you know you're going to be blending it, you're pulling a yellow and you're pulling a blue and you're pulling a brown, and then you get home, you have nothing that goes together. So this has made it super easy that you've got 3 distinct shades. That is not to say you have to stay in that color family. It just makes it really easy for you. So you can see there's a light, a mid, and a dark. Now there's both the bullet nib and there's the chisel. Let me show you the difference on that. Let me pull one. I have one right here. So like we're going to work with the brushy nib today. There's also the chisel nib. The chisel nib has the black barrel, the brush nib has the gray barrel. I learned on a chisel nib, like I started on a chisel nib, and then the brush was a little newer to this particular brand. I know like Copic has had a brush for quite some time. Honestly, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's up to you, like which you like. I mean, one is not better and one is not necessarily more difficult than the other. It's personal preference. It really is. I find the bullet nib, I have a lot of control and to really can get into those nooks and crannies. It's not very bleedy. However, it's harder to do bigger areas. It's not as juicy, a little more elbow grease. When you're talking about the brush tip, very juicy, lots of coverage, and kind of dilutes pretty easily, but sometimes you can bleed out a little because it kind of has a mind of its own. So we're going to try this brush today. It's just a little different. So traditionally, let me show you, when we traditionally color, I have a shading card somewhere. I got to grab it. Oh, here it is. I see it. It's over here. Okay, I have a shading card. I know you don't have this, but let me just show you really quickly. First, I want to swatch it out just so you see what we're working with. I do always like to swatch out my colors like on a piece of paper just so I can see. And you know what's a really great idea, something I should have done with this pen, but I didn't. I like to color swatch, get a hole punch the circle, tape it to the barrel of the marker. Then I know what the color looks like. Because the cap is never very accurate. It really isn't. So I've got 3 distinct colors here. I do want to show you something this dark. I'm going to color dark right here. Now I'm going to wait a second. I'm going to do another layer. See what I'm talking about with the layering? Look, I can go back over. It actually is darker. So you really have 4 colors in a pen, which is kind of amazing, right? So we've got 4 things going on. So when we do a traditional blend, let me do that for you, and then we'll get into this tree because I know we want to do that. So when we do a traditional blend, something like this, you know, let me just quick and dirty do the top of the box like this. I will tell you, I don't know if this is true with anybody else. Chime in the comments, but I am now in my mid-50s, and I can't see a darn thing. I really do need reading glasses. I've got one eye where it's all blurry up close and the other where it's really trying to work overtime to compensate. And I always needed kind of like the driving glasses, but now I don't know what I need. It's a mess. I can't see, and I'm not willing to get the glasses yet. I really do. I need to get like readers or something. Okay, so I did light and dark. That's cake. What I want to show you is the shading on the front. So I'm going to take, when I go to do a basic shade, and this is not necessarily how I'm going to do this, but I want to show you this. So I'm going to do the light on the front. We're going to base coat the whole thing light. We start and we end and blend with our lightest color. It does all the work. So I got this going. So anyway, back to my eyesight. Oh my goodness, I can't see. I just can't see. So that is something I need to figure out. I need to like go to Costco or something and get an eye exam. So, okay, so we got light. Now you'll notice too, I didn't go back over the light because you kind of have to be like I was showing you, one and done. If I did this and I did light, and then I try and go back over, look what happens. It darkens it. So it will build color. You need to be careful so you don't like start doing this and then you have a choppy dark light mess going on. So you really need to do a one and done. So on a traditional blend, something like this where I'd do light all over, I'd switch to my darkest color. I'd do this kind of a thing, okay? And then I would switch to my mid-tone, middle of the marker. Mid-tone, da, 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 da. I've got 3 distinct colors down. I make sure I have paper underneath because bleed through, you see? It saturates the paper, not bleeding sideways, but bleeding through. And then I go back to my light. I had said we start and we end to end blend with our light. We start, we end and blend. Small flicky strokes. I'm trying to dilute these colors to blend together. So if I'm doing this kind of a thing, I'm trying to, small strokes, I'm trying to dilute where all the colors meet to eradicate the harsh line. That is what I'm attempting to do. And do you see how it's going to darken and deepen that lighter color as it's trying to dilute down? So I do need to carry it all the way down so it's not as blotchy. But you see how that's tough to do, right? Like I'm struggling here. I'm trying to dilute it. I'm trying to push it through the paper. Do you see? And look what happens on the backside. You can see all my blending happening on the backside. Look at that. So the more I pull and the more I work it, you can see how I'm pulling it down. It's going to start to really blend out and be a gradual dark to light blend. That's the traditional way to blend. But what we want to do on this tree is a little bit different of a technique because sometimes we have small areas. Sometimes we have areas where there's just not a lot of space to do a drag blend, or darker colors are less forgiving and you can see the transition and it's hard to get them to blend really smooth. So what we want to do here is do a technique called palette blending. You may be familiar if you've taken a class with me before. So you need either an acrylic block or you need some sort of palette, like a, what do I want to say, like a craft sheet, like a palette craft sheet, or I just use cellophane from like the kit bag. Cellophane is a great poor man's acrylic block. So the whole deal is if I were to do, when I color, you'll notice I didn't, I switched to light. I didn't pick up the dark. The markers never pick up the darker color. Like you can't pollute the tips, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You can't pollute them. It's not a water-based marker. Where, you had a Crayola marker 2nd grade, it was yellow, you touched the brown, and then your marker was forever like a weird brown, yellow, blue, green, weird hybrid, because it's water-based, it picks up everything. These are alcohol-based, you can't do that. So palette blending allows us to use basically our brush tips as a paintbrush in essence. And this is great for things like highlights in our hair or skinny grasses, areas where we don't have a lot of space. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to put down a dollop of dark. And here, I'm going to move this right here. I put a dollop of dark on the plastic, and then I'm going to switch to my lighter tip, and I'm going to pick it up and load it onto the pen. Now watch what happens. Dark, fades, light. Look at that. Dark to light. It just exits the pen and transitions. I didn't have to blend that. So once again, I did the dark or mid-tone, whatever. Dark on the plastic. Pick it up with my light, dark to light as it exits, ooh ah, right? So that's kind of what we're going to be doing here with this tree. Let's get over to him. Now we can all color together now that we have the basics down. And sometimes, I want to wipe my tip, make sure it's good. So in this case, I am going to leave the top of the tree. Let's see if you can see this on the screen. Let me do this. Da, 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 da. I'm going to move this down so you can see. There we go. So I'm going to leave the top white. So I'm going to start with my light like this, da, da, da. Okay, I've got him light. Now I want to pretend like basically, well, I'll do 2 layers just so we can start here. I'm going to pretend like, the next bough, the top of the bough is essentially in the shadow of the bough above it. So that's where my dark color is going to be. Let's see how we're doing on time here. We're doing great. All right. So what I'm going to do then is put a little bit of my dark on my plastic. I can do a generous amount because I can keep going back to that and picking it up. So I'm going to pick a little up and I'm going to put it right here, and flicky strokes as it works down. Flicky strokes, it's exiting the pen. Maybe wipe my tip a little bit and pull it down. Like this. If I need some dark, come back in, a little more dark up there, wipe my tip, flicky strokes. You see what I'm doing there? Ooh, right? Pick up my dark. Let's place some dark under here. Pick up the dark, place some dark. And now it's going to exit the pen, little flicky strokes. Wipe my tip a little bit, little flicky strokes, bring it down. That's so much easier, isn't it? That is so much easier than the traditional blend. If you need to pick up some more dark, pick it up. And you can keep working that down. We're going to go in layers and we're going to bring it down all the way down. I'm going to keep working it. Make sure my pen tip is light again. Let me know if you have questions in the comments. Now, all of our alcohol markers, there's some great box sets that are 24 marker packs, which means there's 3 shades per pen. So that makes 72 shades in the box. There's 2 different brush tip boxes, plus an ombre, which is like a tie-dye tip. It's called Tricolor Blend. So really 3 brush tip boxes, plus there's 2 of the 24s that are bullet nib. And then there's the 6-piece sets, which none of those are brush tip. Those are all the bullet nib. And there's a variety of colors on those. Those are already, I think, well, the box sets I know for sure. The 24-piece box, which is 72 shades, those for sure are already on sale on our website. And then you're going to take another 20% off of that. So that's going to make it a phenomenal deal if you need to stock up. In terms of storage for any of this stuff, I would recommend we either have the 48 marker case, which is like a canvas bag, and you can do that. That holds, it's like canvas and Velcro, and it's very sturdy. And then otherwise, I'm going to wipe my tip, and then I'm going to flick this down a little bit. Flick, flick, flick. You can do the Totally Tiffany Buddy Bag. The Sarah is the brand, the particular model. That Sarah is, it holds 24, is that right? Yeah, 24 of the tri-blend. And see, these tri-blend markers are longer. It's a longer marker, so a traditional bag won't necessarily cut it for you. Can you see how I'm building up the dark here? I'm just building it up, wipe my pen tip, and transition it down as it soaks into the paper. Ooh, yeah? How are we all doing with that? Can we see okay? That looks pretty good, yeah? Let's see. Oh, it's looking good. And so yeah, the Sarah Buddy Bag would be a good choice for storage. There is a pen sold separately called Blender I would highly recommend. That allows you to color correct and erase and add texture and things like that. That's a pretty good marker to have. There's also True Black, which we sell separately as a single pen because none of the sets have black, which is silly because there are orcas, there are penguins, there are things where Gray's not going to cut it. We might need a little black in our lives. So that's one thing you can buy separately. I think we even have a deal where you can get the correct ink to stamp with, along with the blender, the black ink, and the really good alcohol marker paper. All right, how do we feel about this? How are we doing? Here we go. I think that looks pretty good. I did this really quickly, didn't I? So we've got that going on. Let's talk about, well, let's crop him and get him mounted. If you have brown, obviously you can, do I have brown? I might have a brown pencil kicking around here. Let me look really quick. Yeah, I have just a brown pencil. So I'm just gonna get him the little tree trunk brown. I should have a marker, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so I've got that going on. Let me trim him a little closer. Let's get him trimmed a little closer. I always get scared it's gonna munch and eat into my paper trimmer. Do you ever have that? Like fear of the paper trimmer where it's, see, it's not even cutting well. That's not a good thing. But you know, I told you earlier, I'm doing the distress look. It's my new thing, the distress look. Okay, so I've got that trimmed up, this trimmed up, boom. Okay, so let's just pretend that this is excellently cleanly trimmed, but I really am doing more of a, oops, I need to do the top, more of a distress look versus the clean trim. That's okay. Okay, there we go. So we got him trimmed up. Let's get my card over here. We're gonna mount him down here like this. I could ink the edges of that if I wish. Let's do it. Why not? We have time. Let's do that. We're gonna, a little bit of dragging my lovely distress edges. There we go. That's lovely. Get a little foamy tape going on in the back here. I've popped up everything. The postman's gonna love me. I'm gonna need like 4 billion stamps on this. You know, the more you pop, the more postage. It's always a challenge, right? So I'm just going to foam tape this up and stick this here. He's gonna nestle maybe like kind of under there like that. That'll work, right? Now we need to do our ornaments. You have in your kit the little foam circles. So anything adhesive will work with foil. We've got some great Gemini foils on the website under like, I think it's under like Gemini foiling or something. So any type of machine foil will work for foiling. So I'm just gonna pop some circles here and there, and I'm gonna decorate my tree with the ornaments like this. Super easy, super fun. Boom, boom, boom. And you can do all of them, you can do some of them, whatever you want to do. I gave you plenty of ornaments, right? This is kind of fun. It's like, I know it's still kind of summery, but it's like Christmas is coming. Why not do something fun and holiday-esque is what I thought. Why not? This was not well decorated. It's okay. All right, so we got that going on, okay? So in order to foil, you just need any type of foil. There's the good side, the bad side. So the good side is going to be pretty. It's going to be up. It's going to be facing you. We're going to peel off our little adhesive cover on all these guys here, like this. Did anybody have a great summer? I sure did. Busy summer. All right, and then you're going to have good side up, and you simply press with your finger and lift. Oh my gosh, come on. Come on. That was just stupid easy, wasn't it? Stupid easy. Just try not to, wherever it like removed the foil, try not to get that on the sticky. It'll try and rip the sticky up. So you really, if you miss a spot and you need to go back, like you can still like gold leaf it almost and go back and press. So I'm just going to do this for all of them. You go ahead and do that too. Super easy. So yeah, we had a busy summer. Lots of shows I went to. If you're curious where we're going next or what we're doing virtually, go on our website on like the classes and events category, and it has everything there. It has everything there because we're going to a lot of places this fall even to do classes in particular. So that'll work. Then I want to do a little bit of snow. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my white pen. So this white pen I use as a fake whiteout too. Like it adds white to anything. So like, let's say I was on this card and I didn't want that D. I could take my white pen. First, let me make sure it's working. There you go. And you can tap and like fake white out a section. So we're essentially going to add white in that will be like, it'll show through the glitter glue as well. So I'm going to tap, tap, tap and add some snow. Yes, you could use a snow marker. Yes, we sell snow markers. So if you have a heat tool and you like to heat emboss, you can do the whole snow marker look, which is more of a dimensional textured snow. If that's not your jam, you don't have a heat tool and you don't want to deal with that, this is the way to go. You can do the fake flat snow with your pen, and then we're going to go on top with the dimensional Stickles glitter glue. So I'm just going to come through and add, do you see how I'm dotting? So I'm going to do that. So do that with me. We're going to go through and add some snow. So yeah, the only vacation we took this summer is between two shows. I went up to Washington, D.C. My husband flew out and met me and my other daughter who was helping me at a show. And our oldest daughter is in D.C. for 9 weeks on an internship at the Smithsonian. She is getting her master's in museum studies. And so she was interning at the Smithsonian, which is awesome. And then my younger daughter's been helping me all summer because she's off. She's got one more year of college left, and she's been helping. And she's been doing a lot of teaching. She's a very good colorist herself, and she'll be doing a lot more of that, I think. She really has an aptitude for it. She really likes it. She's a communications and media major, so she's going to be doing a little more. I think we're going to try and grow our YouTube channel. That'll be kind of fun. We do have a YouTube channel, so and then our Instagram too. She's been doing some videos, so if you're on any of those, of course we're on Facebook too. But okay, so I've got the little, flat snow now. I need to add a little dimension. I'm going to come in with my on the top of the tree. Now this goes on a little clumpy, and then obviously it dries clear and glittery. Now if you get, it always jams in this tip. I end up always cutting down my tip and calling it a day and being a little more goopy with it. I think that's just better. You can always take an earring if you don't have a safety pin and just unclog that way. So I'm just going to do a tap tap, adding all of this goopy dimension, yeah? And it's going to dry nice and glittery and kind of pretty. Yeah, I mean, I could come on top of these guys and add, I could make polka dot ornaments too. See what I'm doing? I could do that. You could add, if you had a different color like red, you could do stripes. You could do all kinds of things to further embellish this. On my sample, I added some red and gold and the iridescent glitter glue. I'm going to add that on top of some of these little blings. And when it dries, it'll just be really shimmery. That'll be fun. Like that. Oh my goodness, that was easy, right? And then if you didn't do the coloring with me and you just did the regular tree, you could kind of come in and embellish that. So that's Gosh, that went really quickly, right? So that came together quite nicely. Let me pull up that, oh, I should mention, if you like foiling and you want to do a little more foiling, where did it go? Oh no, you know how you get cluttery? Here it is. I do have another foiling kit that's just ready to go on the website. Let me move this out of the way, and this is wet, so I'm gonna slide him this way. We've got this little kit. It's got everything in here to make 3 foiled cards. What's in there? You get to make these 3. So if you liked the whole foiling thing, they look like this. So this has the dimensional shapes to do the foiling. This is just a tape runner, and it's got a little mask strip in there. So you're going to mask off that and just tape runner and then do your foil. So this kit is kind of fun. So if you liked the foiling and you want another kit, that's available on the website. We also have obviously foam squares and foam tape and foam stars. Foam stars are quite fun, that kind of a thing. But yeah, going back to this guy, you can certainly stock up on, if you didn't get a kit and you like the techniques I'm talking about, certainly you can buy those markers online. Here is our special once again. Let me grab him. Here he is. There's our special once again. I'm going to put this back on there. 20% off your entire purchase. Coupon code is BBucks. It's good through Tuesday the 20th. And regular and sale price items, free shipping over $59, $7.99 flat rate shipping under $59. I think that just about covers it. Yeah, I'm so glad you joined me. Like I said, go to our website, shopbecreative.com, and go to classes and events. You'll see all the other things that we're doing through the rest of the year. Lots of different types of classes in lots of different places. If you're in Southern California, we've got that show coming up in October. We're going to be, where else are we going to be? We're going to be in Texas. We're going to be in, oh my goodness, now I can't think, Utah. We're going to be in Utah. We're going to be in, and now I'm blanking out. Scottsdale. We're going to be in Scottsdale too. All kinds of places. So come check that out. We'll hopefully have next year's schedule very soon. I'm hoping we can post that by October. Like, we'll firm it up and figure out. I know the month of like May, probably we won't be traveling at all, just because we've got a couple of graduates going on. So, but other than that, we're going to try and get everywhere. And I'm happy you joined me. And I'm just going to sign off now, and you can go shopping. So thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks so much.